So I focus mostly on using Excel in this class because for a couple reasons. First of all, Excel is just super cool, but also it's the most transferable of all the skills, meaning you can use it in the most places. So therefore, that's what I tend to use. But depending on requests and throughout, I want to show you how to use some other technologies you may want to use and it's always good to know other ways to get things. So I'm going to talk about the TI. Now the TI is a fabulous resource. It is pretty user-friendly. Well, okay, that's a bit of a lie. Um, it can be, it's very powerful and there's a lot of cool things. And what I mean by user-friendly is most of you have experience with it. You've used it in other classes. So you might already be fairly familiar with it. And so it might be comfortable for you to use. So if you want to use the TI, I will often have videos and I can do more on request. I can tell you if it's available on the TI for a lot of the stat functions. The biggest I would say negative to the TI is data entry. It is a lot easier to put data into Excel than it is into the TI. Also for output, if you are trying to put something into a presentation, it's really easy to copy and paste it from Excel. It is not from the TI. There are ways. You need a cord and you can plug it into your computer. I do it. And there's a free TI Connect program. But for most of you, that's incredibly cumbersome. It's also a very small output screen versus the much larger view. So as far as accessibility of the outputs, it is much harder to use, especially in your project. It's also like if you were going to make you're trying to make a presentation, well, obviously for this class, but say for work later in life, the outputs in Excel are going to be really easy to use. The outputs in Excel are not. So that's kind of why I focus on Excel versus the TI. But let's talk a little bit about the TI. So obviously, if you want to find the basic functions, like for instance, mean, you can simply add them up. 12 plus 13, well, maybe 12 plus 13 plus 16, I have three values. I divide by 3. Obviously, there's the manual input. But what if you want a more, a more global approach that's going to do it, and you don't have to put this in. The problem with doing mean this way is it's really easy to transpose numbers, right? Turn that 16 to 61, and all of a sudden you're really far off. So you're going to go to the Stat menu here, and you first need to put in your data. So you're going to go to Stat, this top one, Edit, and you're going to pick one of these lists. You have 6 of them available. And so these are football player weights, just one of the problems out of the book. 189, 254, 235, 225, 190, 305, 195, 202, 190, 252, 305. Okay, so those are our values. Now, I would always double check your values. Honestly, no matter what you do, you should double check your values. But these, I find it really a pain in the butt to get them in. And so I like to double check. So 305, 252, I got to talking. And then I lost track of where I was. Okay, so I've got my data in. Now, you can put this in order. So I'm going to go here to Stat. I'm going to go to Sort, okay? And then I'm going to pick which list I want it to sort. So second stat, see this where it says list up here? That's how you get them. So I'm going to go to second stat. I'm going to pick list 1. And now it's going to sort it. So now if I go back to stat and I go to edit, this is now in order. Okay. Now I'm going to tell you why that matters here in a minute. So I'm going to exit out of here. I'm going to go to stat. I'm going to go over to calc, one variable statistics, the very top one. Okay. List. I want list 1, but if you didn't, you'd go to second stat and you'd pick the list you want. So you can keep, more, and then I'm just going to hit calculate. So this up top, 231.1, this is my mean. So see x bar. This is the sum of all my x, that's the sum of my x squared. We're going to get to what these two are here in a minute, but we don't need them for right now. There are 11 values. I've got my min, my quartiles, which we'll talk about later. I've got my median right here, 225, my third quartile, and my max. You'll notice there is no mode. So to get to mode, so there's the median, and up at the top was X bar, okay? Mean X bar, and this is where knowing those symbols that I told you about in the book will matter too. Now, to find the mode though, you'll have to do it manually. And so you would come through here and I'm like, okay, I got two 190s and I've got two 305. So I'm bimodal, I have two modes. That's why the sort function is important, is because that'll make it easy to find the mode because you can just go through and look for it. So hopefully this gives you a quick overview of how to get the stat functions out of your TI. You want to just use, as I said, calc and then one variable statistics. I'm actually now curious. Okay, obviously not that because there's an X and Y list. I was wondering what that was. And you can get all but mode out of it this way, but can be very useful. And if you are familiar and enjoy the TI, this gives you some more options.